Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Coast News. And as always, got some amazing news from different theme parks, rides, attractions and events all over the world. So let's get straight into the news today. Our top story for tonight, Minifigure Speedway has officially opened at Legoland Windsor. And this attraction is literally probably one of the best things that Legoland Windsor has ever invested in terms of new attractions in recent history. But if you know what I'm talking about, basically, obviously Minifigure Speedway is a brand new, well, technically it's two brand new coasters. It's a pair of Sierra dual-link boomerang coasters, obviously the family coasters, but obviously they were built brand new for 2024 at Legoland Windsor, and I think they're kind of the first of their kind, because obviously when the plan application was first submitted back in, I think, what was it, end of 2022, something like that, obviously the plans, they didn't list a manufacturer, but because it was a dueling boomerang family coasters, or a pair of dueling family coasters, we assumed it was going to be Vekoma. Because obviously they're the main sort of company that builds boomerang coasters nowadays. Obviously Gerstlauer built your few like family shuttle coasters before, but I think it's Vekoma that's the main ones. But obviously the track arrived, I think, towards the end of the season last year when it was confirmed the manufacturer was Sierra, which was very interesting. We did not know that it was going to be Sierra that was building. Obviously, like I said, we assumed it was Vekoma. Obviously the construction of the ride did not take long at all. It started like the very end of last season, and the track went, basically the track and supports, vertical construction began like the very end of the season last year. In fact, it might have been sort of like maybe November, December time, and then it all got completed in about January, February. But then testing only commenced like a few weeks before the ride actually opened. It was originally supposed to open on Good Friday, the 29th of March, 2024. And it was all ready to go. Obviously, all the mandatory testing had been done. All the rides had been set up. All the theming had been installed. But they stated that they had to delay it until the, I think it was the 6th of April. Was it? That was this past Saturday. Because of technical issues of unforeseen circumstances. But however, they managed to get it open just this last Saturday, and the responses to it were actually really amazing. Obviously, it's a really fun family ride experience. You get loads of interactive elements with both tracks. Obviously, there's two tracks, Team Legends and Team All Stars, because obviously it's themed to like a speedway and it's themed to racing. And obviously, it's a great new addition to Legoland Windsor, and it's probably the best roller coaster at the park there. So obviously, Minifigure Speedway looks like an absolutely amazing attraction, and I'm so glad that it's finally opened. In other news today, the train for Hyperia at Thorpe Park has officially been unveiled. And we've been waiting, this moment has just been, we've been building up in anticipation for the past sort of few weeks, ever since the track was completed. Because once we knew that the track was completed, that means the trains were going to arrive very soon, and we were waiting so desperately. Like, the train is kind of just the crown, for this ride, is kind of just the crown in the jewel of the ride's experience. The jewel in the crown, sorry, got my words mixed up there. If you know what I'm talking about, basically, Hyperia is a brand new Mack Rides hyper coaster, which is opening at Thorpe Park on the 24th of May this year. And obviously, upon opening, when it does open, it's going to take the record for the tallest and fastest roller coaster in the UK, reaching speeds of over 80 miles an hour, which ties its speed with Stealth, which is also at Thorpe Park, which has been the fastest roller coaster in the UK since 2006. And it's also going to be the tallest at a whopping 236 foot tall. When you think about the big one at Blackpool Pleasure Beach, which up until recently was the tallest, I mean, technically the big one is still the tallest, because according to the Guinness World Record, it can't actually be deemed as a roller coaster until the train is on the track. So until that train is actually on the track for Hyperia and testing, it is literally just a massive metal structure until the trains are going around the circuit of the ride. So the big one is still technically the tallest, but obviously that's only 213 foot tall. So obviously Hyperia is 23 foot taller than the big one. So it might not seem much of a height difference, but it probably is. They probably look like similar heights, but even still, we haven't had a ride of this sort of height since 2006 with obviously Stealth, which is only 205 foot tall. We haven't really had a ride of this scale in terms of like well, really since probably the bigger one, I'd say, because that's been the UK's tallest for 30 years now. It was once the world's tallest when it first opened, only for about 2 years though. But obviously, ever since the track was fully completed with the topping off of the lift hill, we've been waiting for the trains to be revealed for so long. And there was a lot of speculation about what the train designs could be. And the trains were revealed literally today. The trains were actually spotted sort of arriving at the park yesterday by a visitor who had obviously seen the ride carriages, the ride cars, like all wrapped up, so you couldn't really see much of the design of the trains. But obviously today, Thorpe Park released a video showing the full design of the first train in the maintenance shed, and it looks gorgeous. Like, it literally looks like the front of a sports car, that front train design. It looks really cool. And the trains for Hyperia is absolutely stunning, and it will not be long now until it starts testing. It's a matter of days now. It's going to be absolutely incredible. Also in the news today, a brand new master plan has been unveiled for Universal Studios Great Britain. Now, literally, I'm just getting more and more confident that Universal Great Britain is going to happen in the near future, because there's been so much talk about it from like the local government and local council, and obviously from Universal Destination Experiences. The likelihood of it happening is increasing every time we hear news about it, and it's all pretty much been good news from Universal Great Britain ever since it was announced last December. But if you know what I'm talking about, basically, Universal Studios Great Britain is a brand new theme park that's being built by Universal Destinations and Experiences, obviously the same company that owned the likes of Universal Orlando and Universal Hollywood. And the last theme park they built was actually Universal Studios Beijing in 2021 in China. And obviously this brand new theme park, Universal Great Britain, is going to Bedford, which is obviously not really that far. It's basically the same sort of distance as, like, from where I live. It's the same sort of distance to Alton Towers. So obviously, if this does get built, and obviously if we get tickets there, the feasibility of going there, well, not regularly, but it's not that far. It's literally the same sort of distance as Alton Towers from here. But obviously, it's a really ambitious plan, especially considering we've never seen anything like this in the country at all, and that includes Alton Towers. Obviously, I love Alton Towers to bits, and obviously it is an absolutely amazing theme park with brilliant attractions, but it's kind of the way that Universal do it. Obviously, they're mainly an American-based company, even though they have parks all around the world, but I don't think they have any parks. They used to own Ventura in Spain, but they lost ownership of that, I think, during like the early 2000s. So other than Ventura, Universal haven't really stretched out into Europe that much. But obviously the way Alton Towers and Merlin overall do theme parks and the way Universal Destination Experiences do it, very different. With Universal, it tends to be more focused on storytelling, themed attractions with immersive experiences. So obviously, even though it's sort of becoming the same with like Alton Towers and other Merlin parks, it's much more prevalent around Universal. But obviously, literally the other day, Universal unveiled a master plan in a public consultation, basically stating a few major details about the park. Obviously, they revealed parts of like the layout of the whole new park, which is obviously, and the actual theme park itself is going to be there's going to be multiple things installed there. It's not just going to be the theme park, but the theme park itself is said to be bigger than Islands of Adventure. They'll provide a greater look into brand new transport links. There's going to be other spaces which are labelled as mixed use, so that could mean we could get stuff like Universal City Walk. If you don't want City Walk, it's basically like Disney Springs at Walt Disney World, but obviously for Universal. And apparently there's going to be plenty of like conservation areas to conserve the local landscape, and there's even said space for a second park somewhere. And they were even in the plan suggested they plan to improve the local rail lines and the bus, basically improving all the local transport links to make it easier to get there, making it easier to access. So overall, this plan is actually really well detailed, and it's looking likely that it's going to hopefully get approved. And obviously, if it does get approved, then we should expect Universal Studios Great Britain to open before the end of this decade. So at the very latest, probably 2030, which is just the start of the next decade. and I cannot wait for Universal Great Britain to hopefully get built one day. And finally in the news today, Walt Disney World have announced that Test Track at EPCOT will be closing on the 17th of June 2024 for a major refurbishment. And I was not expecting there to be a refurbishment of Test Track at EPCOT. I absolutely loved this ride when we went on it last at Walt Disney World. But if you know what I'm talking about, basically, Test Track is a dark ride located at Epcot as part of the Walt Disney World Resort in Florida. Obviously, it is sponsored by Chevrolet, and obviously, the whole theme of the ride is all themed to like the innovation of motor vehicles and obviously the car industry, and it's actually a really cool ride. It's actually as of like I think when we last went, it is the fastest ride at Walt Disney World. I don't know if that record is still. It's the fastest ride that Disney had ever built in all 12 of their theme parks worldwide. I don't know if that's changed since Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind opens in 2022, but I don't know what the speed of that is. But I don't think that goes, because obviously the top speed of Test Track is actually 65 miles an hour, which is pretty fast actually, especially considering it's not even a roller coaster, it is a dark ride. Most of the ride takes place indoors. There are a couple of fast sections in the indoor section, but there's a bit like in a sort of like the finale section where it goes outside and goes up to its maximum speed, and it's a really cool ride. But obviously it was announced that it was going to last year at D23 that was going to be closing in 2024 as part of a major refurbishment to change like sort of the storyline of the attraction and all the theming, and basically like changes. It's still going to be sponsored by Chevrolet, but it's going to change all like the theming and the storyline of it. A bit like what they were supposed to do with Spaceship Earth a few years ago. It's going to be closing on the 17th of June this year, and the refurbishment is said to last for over a year before it reopens. And it's said to cost them an estimated $100 million, which is the same price tag as Expedition Everest. That is insane. Obviously, it's sad that Test Track is closing, but when it does reopen, it is going to look absolutely amazing. And I cannot wait for Test Track to reopen. So that is it for this week's episode of Coast News. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, then please make sure to like, subscribe, and comment where you'd like to see in the next video. Goodbye.